I'm bored. However, our friends over at Geeks and Gamers are not doing so hot. So I thought, why not do a wellness check for them free of charge? All right, so we do have a video clip we're going to look at today in just a moment, but I want to just recap you guys on something that I did 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember how long ago it was, but we took a look at like 4 or 5 channels in the Grifty Chud space to see like what it looks like, what the ecosystem looks like, and the prognosis was not good. We have determined, looking at a lot of these channels over time, that since Trump has taken office and become president, that the culture around all of this has sort of dipped off. And I'm going to show you guys, we have evidence of it, right? So we're going to look at that, but it's sort of dipped off, and these guys aren't the darlings of the algorithm they used to be. They're not getting the views and the numbers they used to get. And so they're trying to find ways to stay afloat because they got so big so quickly in this ecosystem that in order for them to stay afloat, they have to continuously grow. They have to. If you don't grow at a certain point, you're going to plateau, and then it's just drop off at that point. And I think we've reached the drop-off phase for channels like Geeks and Gamers. Now, of course, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, still large enough that they're able to sustain themselves for now. But these like mid-range chud channels are just not seeing the numbers they used to see. And I know a lot of people in my comment section were like, well, he's uploading to his secondary account, blah, blah, blah. We're going to take a look at that as well. We're going to get to that in this video. But let's watch this clip because I believe they're going to present to us some evidence that things are not looking good over at the Geeks and Gamers camp and that they're sort of struggling. So let's take a look.
We have a brand new website over on geeksandgamers.com, and we are merging with that Park Place.
Oh.
We're going to bring their editorial team over. What the vision for this website is to obviously be the entertainment hub for our sphere, but also the news and information for our sphere as well.
Okay, so that Park Place, which is a chuddy sort of awful propaganda site that obviously isn't doing well. Also, there's a lot of internal drama between that website and John Della Rosa's website, Fandom Pulse. There's a lot of drama between those two. Obviously, that Park Place isn't doing too well. And so they were also looking for ways to stay afloat. The saturation or oversaturation, I should say, of this ecosystem is it's worse than it's ever been. There's no shortage of like anti-woke outlets that just put out slop content. So the ones that were like niche and counterculture like 3 years ago are no longer that. Now they're on the other side of that, and people are taking the grift to another level. And so I'm sure that Park Place was sort of struggling with ad revenue to stay relevant. So they were looking for somewhere to go. Geeks and Gamers obviously uses a lot of articles from that Park Place, Fandom Pulse, Cosmic Book News, Breitbart, and anywhere they can. But there's not a lot of that either. They're noticing that, you look around, there's not a lot of those kinds of articles to use now. So what they need to do, what they're doing here is they want to manufacture like a human centipede of news, meaning that Geeks and Gamers will supply topics. That Park Place will then create articles about those topics, and then those topics will get repeated in Geeks and Gamers videos. So it's a circle. This is them controlling all of that. They want to be in control of every element of this. They're also hoping that people in their space, like all the people featured in this video, will start reading their news from the geeksandgamers.com website. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting some sort of like deal out of this, to be honest. I have no proof of it. That bit is a bit of speculation. But everything else in terms of like being able to control what kind of news they're getting, what kind of stuff is coming out on these outlets, whether true, false, speculation, rumor, theory, it doesn't matter. It can all be funneled through their website. And so they can create their own narratives. Now, that's because the algorithm doesn't really love them anymore. So this is them trying to make up for that. Again, we're going to look at their channels in a second, and I'll explain in more detail. But let's listen to the rest of the announcement.
Well, so when Az goes on a legendary rant,
clown,
when the internet is misrepresenting what happened in that rant, we're going to have an article to break it down.
No, what he's saying is we're going to run propaganda for Az. That's what he's saying. When the internet reacts and gives a real opinion, we are going to have an article basically creating a narrative, which is a word that Jeremy loves, creating a narrative around what's happening so that we can continue to brainwash the remaining fans that we have, to desperately try and hold on to those remaining fans. Because the relevance of Az ranting outside of their bubble means zero, right? You wouldn't see an article written about as by most other outlets unless it's one of those huge, massive, like viral moments like he had a couple years ago. So basically they're like, anytime as rants, we're going to write an article about it, and then we're going to talk about it as if other news sources are covering it, because they want to keep everything in that echo chamber. This looks really bad. I don't know who thinks this is based. This would be essentially like people in the liberal space creating a website, and then every article is about someone in their space. So then in their videos, they can talk about the articles that were written by the people that work for them. And that's all it is. It's just one big cycle. This is not good. Anybody out there trying to cope with this saying this is a good idea, it's not. All this proves is that you need an echo chamber. These are the guys that say they don't want to live in an echo chamber. This is quite literally what an echo chamber is.
To tell everybody what's actually going on. When Critical Drinker makes a viral tweet, we're going to write an article about it. When Ryan says something controversial, we're going to not be able to defend it, but we're going to stand with him.
See what I'm saying? It's an echo chamber. That's all this is. Everyone out there who has defended these guys and said everyone else is living in an echo chamber, welcome to the echo chamber. It doesn't get, like, this example is so perfect. This is a perfect example of an echo chamber. They are creating articles themselves that they will then read on a video that will get cycled back into the algorithm and then fed back into their article. This is shocking to me that anybody would think that this is good. This is not good, everyone. Again, I'll explain why in a moment.
When we have meetups, when there are things going on, geeksandgamers.com is going to be the place where you have all of your information right there. And I'm really excited about this. With that, we have another announcement, and that is that we are joining forces with Criticless. Now, if you don't know what Criticless is essentially a Rotten Tomatoes / Letterboxd alternative.
Look, there's nothing wrong with having alternative places to go, but let me explain to you what this means now. Now they're combining their content with that park place. So they have articles that they can read from. Now they have their own Rotten Tomatoes to create scores to put into those articles to read from. That's what's happening. So anytime their little idiot minions go to their videos, they're going to be like, oh, well, actually, Criticless said, like, this is what this is. So Rotten Tomatoes is no longer catering to them. They can't use those scores because the scores are contrary to what they're saying. They can't use articles because the articles out there that are talking about Hollywood or whatever, they're slowing down. They're slowing down. We're seeing that there's not a lot happening in Hollywood right now in terms of stuff they can go after. So that's slowing down. There's not a lot of TV shows for them to talk about. So in order for them to create scores for them to go after, they're going to use Criticless scores because they can manipulate them. None of this is above reproach anymore. Now we have a aggregate site for scoring, a site that writes articles, all combined together with a chud outlet channel on YouTube. They're just literally going to create their own stories. No longer are we going to see stuff where people are actually talking about things that are happening outside of the space. This space is going to become a niche echo chamber. This is signaling the beginning of the end. And I'll talk more about that in a second.
You can go over there, review movies, make lists, all of that. There is an average score over there. There's an app on Android and Apple. The app works fantastic. Here's the website right here. And there's just a feed of different users.
It looks like shit. It looks like, look at it. It looks awful.
You go over here, you can have your own profile. There's my profile right there. It houses all your reviews.
This screams Raid Shadow Legends. This is what this screams. Join my clan now. Partner up with Raid Shadow Legends. Join my clan now and get 5 champions for free. And then you can play with me. Newsflash, you can't. Raid Shadow Legends.
And you can go see what other people list they've done. We've had communities over there. And the site works really good, and the app works really, really good. So we're excited about that. And but we are now officially partnered with Ripa Send for all of our.
I told you guys, It's a spiral here. This is not good, everyone. Let's get through this. I can't wait to talk about this.
Merch, and that is live right now. And we have new merch right there. We have the Cobra Cast one. We have the online original. We have the iDot. We have the Geeks and Gamers hat. So go over there, check it out. Links are going to be there, but you can also find that directly through the website here. All of the stuff up here.
All right, let's talk about this. So Geeks and Gamers, obviously having trouble, having some issues. That Park Place clearly not getting the views and the stuff that they were getting before. Criticless, a really bad Rotten Tomatoes knockoff, which doesn't matter if they have 100 people on there or 1,000 people on there. It doesn't matter. The scores are no longer, like, now that it's combined with Geeks and Gamers, like, you can't take any of that seriously at this point. What this is to me, outside of the Ripison stuff, I don't care that they're selling merch through Ripison. The Ripaverse is another dying thing. But what this shows me is that they are all scrambling to stay afloat, and they are combining their audiences in hopes to keep themselves above water for a little while longer. Businesses that are doing well don't all just bundle together like that. Companies don't just partner up like this. This is a pretty major partnership. Like the Geeks and Gamers website and Park Place combining together to create news. It's a pretty big red flag. Criticless having to use Geeks and Gamers, which, by the way, maybe Criticless will benefit a little bit from this, but Geeks and Gamers desperately needs something they can look to and scores that they can use to manipulate their viewers. This is all bad. It is a really bad signal. The days of old white men screaming at clouds and being, popular on YouTube are over. It's over. Here's the main Geeks and Gamers channel, the flagship channel. As I said before, they haven't uploaded over here in over a month. It's been longer than a month. Actually, it's almost been 2 months. This video here came out, I think, like the 20th or somewhere around the 20th of August. So it's been almost 2 months for this. Now, yes, they're still going live, but here's the thing. That means they are relying on super chats and memberships over YouTube's algorithm. They've given up on the YouTube algorithm. They've given up on it. It's not doing anything for them. So they're doing their live streams and they are collecting donations and super chats, and that's fine. Memberships, whatever, that's fine. But it doesn't look healthy for a channel of this size to just give up uploading videos. It doesn't pass the smell test. Now you might say, well, Eric, what about D-Day Cobra? All right, let's take a look at D-Day Cobra's channel and see what it looks like over there for him. All right, here we go. 170,000 subscribers. Oh, 6 months. He hasn't uploaded a video on his D-Day Cobra channel in 6 months. However, he does live stream over there, does live streams, but he doesn't upload videos anymore. This points to a very big problem for them. That is, the YouTube algorithm is no longer sustainable for these channels. It's not. Because the reason why they stopped uploading videos is because there's not a lot for them to talk about. Ryan Cannell scrapes the bottom of the barrel. We know what kind of content we're going to get from Ryan Cannell, but even that's not enough to sustain the Geeks and Gamers audience. Jeremy has to live stream a lot. If you look here, let's just take a look here. So he did a live stream here. Is this one with him in it? Is he actually in this live stream? I'm assuming it is his channel. He did a almost 4-hour live stream one day ago. And then you go over to the Geeks and Gamers channel, the flagship channel. And this is a live stream without him. Like, he's not even on this one. He's not even on this. Is he even on these live streams anymore? He's not even on these live streams anymore. He has to live stream over on his second channel to keep the Geeks and Gamers brand alive. That's where we're at. What about Geeks and Gamers 2, you might say? What about that channel? Well, over here, they are uploading videos on this channel, but the traction is awful. It's awful. Look, 3K views, 9K views, 6.5K views, 4.3K views, even a video like this with 18K views. This isn't enough, everyone. You have to understand this ecosystem that they exist in requires them to have a lot of employees that work for them to keep all of this content rolling out. I would say, just based on speculation on what I know about YouTube and how the system works, the video output has slowed down because people have been fired. Again, this is speculation territory, but follow me on this one. People that worked for Geeks and Gamers on the backside of it have been let go, and therefore the video output has slowed down. So we're only seeing certain things prioritized, the things that they control, the things that they're able to do, which is live streaming. Ryan Cannell probably edits his own videos. He might have someone helping him. So his channel is just him, and then when he jumps on and live streams for Geeks and Gamers. And he does, I think he live streams like once a week himself. Geeks and Gamers 2, by the way, Geeks and Gamers 2, this is the funny thing. I was looking over here. Used to be a Geeks and Gamers girl channel. I didn't even know this. It used to be Geeks and Gamers Girls. And they rebranded it to Geeks and Gamers 2, as you can see. But yeah, this is a signal of the beginning of the end for these guys. You know, more and more evidence keeps coming out that these channels cannot stay afloat the way they are. They cannot sustain themselves this way. This is a big one. Wellness check complete. Prognosis is not good. 6 months to a year before we start to see some major changes. I don't think this little combo thing they're doing with That Park Place and Criticless, I don't think it's going to help the channel at all. I'm under the full belief that it is just a scramble to retain some sort of income. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. As far as the Ripacin stuff, the Ripaverse has its own set of problems that we could talk about for another 30, 45 minutes in terms of like what's going on over there. But yeah, all of this is cope stuff. Anybody who's acting like this is some big, huge thing, it's not. It's not a big deal. It is simply them struggling to stay afloat in a system where culture has changed and is actively working against them, and there's nothing they can do about it.